record over my phone, so that's great.
Okay.
Thank you. That's good enough.
Okay. So I'm recording or?
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm recording.
it is recording.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Showing REC on my end.
Okay, I'll show it on YouTube, private video, so you can share with your team members.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. What metrics or KPI are the most important to you for measuring your success?
Okay, for us would be the number of participants. There are actually companies and so on who send people to do the training and so on. But there are also people who are in the wild. They just go on the website, they see this, or they heard from somebody else and they join. So that would be a good KPI. Yeah, right now we have something like 200,000 people earning points of the World Civility Index. Oh, by the way how they earn points, it's they can go on and read an article or watch a videos or attend some kind of seminar, and they can accumulate points over time. We don't allow people to binge watch or binge read and earn, watch 10 videos and earn 10 points per day. The system, the software allows them to only earn 1 point per day. That's why we said if a person have earned 100 points, that means that person, even if he or she learned nothing at all, it shows they have discipline, the commitment to spend 100 days to do something that they find important, and we make it very easy. We call them micro learning, so people can finish a lesson while they're waiting for the bus, waiting for the subway, and so on. So it can integrate into people's busy lives in that regard.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you in your business, do you have any company you admire or you wishes, or any competitors you want to differentiate from?
There are people who say, "Oh gosh, Patrick, you got a lot of competitors. A lot of these training companies, universities, and so on." But then we said we're not a training company. A lot of people get us wrong. They don't understand that we are a standard body. We're not a company in terms like with shareholders. We don't have shares. We don't have shareholders and so on for a very specific reason. But the thing is, though, we work with partners. All these training companies and so on, they are the ones. So in terms of Stanford doing something like this, soft skills, or Harvard and so on, someday we want to turn them into our customers. They will be our partners. So by having that model, when we first started IITTI in 2011, we specifically said we are not going to do any training. We're not going to make money quickly, because setting a standard is a long-term goal. It takes a long time for a lot of stakeholders to agree. Sometimes they don't agree, well, for many reasons. One of them could be they're jealous. Hey, Patrick, how come you didn't talk to me first, when you guys were founded? And they don't like it. So human nature. So those are kind of obstacles we see setting up standard. But now, like I said, when there's nothing much for 14 years, and now we see the inflection. There are many good reasons. The reason why I said there are no competitors, quote unquote, people say, Patrick, you just out of it. Everybody has competitors. The competitors I see would be somebody like you, gentlemen. You guys are young. I'm old. You guys are going to start something similar to IITTI. You're going to set up something similar to World Civility Index. And you have what? You guys are what, 20, 30 somewhat year old? I'm 65. So you have a lot longer path runway to take off. And while I'm almost at the end of the runway, I'm going to drop off very quickly. and so my biggest competitors are somebody out of the blue, just like DeepSeek. In the AI world, if you're familiar with AI, DeepSeek is taking over when it was only OpenAI and other companies and so on that are closed. They think that they can make a lot of money very quickly. even though they call themselves open AI, is a misnomer. And that's why the brand is suffering. Is they were supposed to be open AI, but then I think they got greedy. They want to make money quickly. Well, I don't blame them. You know, the shareholders, the investors probably say, hey, you know, if you don't start making money, I'm gonna start pulling back my money. So they have Sam Altman may have very little chance of doing otherwise. But DeepSeek comes in and say, well, we're pretty much just about as good, but we're open source. That means it's free for everybody. Everybody can use it and so on. So those are the kind of things for us. The competitors are somebody like you who say, well, Patrick, you know, I don't like your World Civility Index. You're, you know, run by a bunch of very old people. To you, you're old, and we can do better. And you do something similar, and like I said, you have a long runway. You know, you can take. We took 14 years to get to where we are. You start something like this, and you say, wow, there's this group called IITTI, and they're out of it. I'm going to be replacing it. The buy-in could be a lot faster because we have been, you know, cutting down the bushes right in front of us is a jungle, and you can walk right behind us and say, you know, the path is easier. Of course, when we fall over, you have to hack the jungle too, but you already have a way you know, behind me that you don't have to put in as much effort in that regard. So that is the biggest competitor that I wouldn't say I lose sleep over it. I think it will be good. You know, IITTI is not about making money as much as making a difference. So if somebody behind us is going to be making a difference, all for it in that regard. So that puts a monkey wrench into your gear in that you may want to say, oh, you know, how much money we're making and so on, and do a report. And then here it is, IITTI is really not that. So I talk a lot about this with your professor too, in that, you know, what we're about, and this is a big challenge. But I'm not really seeing that to be a problem, because you know why? The traditional model of companies could be the way of the dinosaur very quickly. I'll tell you why. AI is coming in and making most people lose their jobs, traditional jobs anyway. So we got to have a new paradigm into saying that what is the new world order in having the 8 billion people on Earth, 8 billion people with nothing to do in the traditional sense. How can we change that? And the conclusion is with our involvement with the MIT Presencing Institute and Harvard's IDG and United Nations is that we need to have humanity caring more, to love one another, to have empathy in that regard. So it will be the 8 billion people serving the 8 billion people, and the machines can help us do the dishwashing and all the mundane work and so on. So that is the change in that regard. And in the new economy, there are ways of making money. And with that, the IITTI comes in a big way, in that the World Civility Index can be something that helps something called UBI. UBI stands for Universal Basic Income. When nobody have jobs anymore in a traditional sense, government would have to give you and I a check, $1,000, for example, every month. No questions asked, just like they did during COVID. In Canada, I was away, I was overseas, so but in Canada, they have a check for every citizen during COVID. No questions asked. So that was a dress rehearsal, a practice for UBI. And many people are already thinking about UBI. Now, the question is in the back of your mind could be, well, that's going to create a bunch of lazy people. And sure enough, you know, the World Civility Index can come in and say, people who have earned certain number of points of World Civility Index, they get a higher income. They get a higher UBI. So UBI is not a one size fits all. UBI would be a graduated scale. The more humanity a person has, the more empathy, the more soft skill a person has, more aware of the people and so on around it, the more income they make. So there's a whole bunch of economists and sociologists are working on that in what is going to happen post-labor, after labor, AI-dominated world in that regard. So when that kicks in, the World Civility Index is going to be a key component in the whole ecology in that regard. Sorry about my.
No, okay. Thank you very much for the answer. Yes, I think we have on my end. I have covered whatever we needed to reach. Just the last question which I have is that from my example, growing up back in Africa, we have what we call digital divide. The good services like this, they don't reach people because the challenges of access to basic like electricity, internet, and so on. However, the mobile phones have provide these services. Do you think is something your services something which can be available, maybe information available on easy and user-friendly devices so that people around all the four corners of the world can have this very important information, learn these soft skills before AI take over?
Well, yeah, we're running out of time, but very, very good questions indeed. There are groups who have been talking to us. They say, "Hey, Patrick, we know this uh, such and such telecom company. Can we do something with them in Africa?" This is, and most people have some kind of a phone and more and more smartphones, so they can go on the IITTI website and learn and so on. I think that is not difficult for us because we already have the infrastructure, the software, the website, and the content in that regard. The future is going to be difficult in that how can we scale that? How can we actually talk to Nigeria? How can we talk to Kenya? How can we talk to many of the countries? I'm only one man. That's the thing. That's why I encourage you. And so far there are actually young people like yourself stepping up and say, Patrick, I think this is a good thing. I'm going to go back to my country and I'm going to start advocating for this. I'm going to start promoting this. I said, good, go, make lots of money and give us the breadcrumbs. I always say that, and that is the model. So they can not only do good, but they also can do well in making a company, maybe even finding investors, and because this is all about social impact. Right now, there are many companies accumulating funds for social impact companies, new ideas in helping the people, because this AI juggernaut is coming, is already here. There are already people being laid off in North America, graphic artists, accountants, and even lawyers, or engineers even. So it is here already. So when governments are slow to react, they're going to be at a real disadvantage because it's the gap. Eventually, people will understand about UBI. We need to have this new economy where the government will have enough money to pay for UBI. For many reasons, some countries have something called the sovereign wealth fund. Sovereign wealth fund is a piggy bank that the country will have in keeping the money in there. So they go out and buy stocks into their companies. So in other words, the citizens of the countries are becoming shareholders of their companies. So when the shares, when the companies do well, they have less people working, more robots, and they make more money. the citizens also benefit. Without something like the piggy bank, like a sovereign wealth fund, what are you going to do? All the people are unemployed. How do you generate the money then? So in that sense, there's argument. Mr. Donald Trump, United States president, he is thinking quite wisely. Some people think that because he started the U.S. sovereign wealth fund as late as it is. There are already many countries, Norway being the most successful sovereign wealth fund. They're saying that yes, we are going green. Norway is very, very advanced. They're going green, but they still dig up the oil. They still dig up the fossil fuel. But the thing is, though, they're not going to use that money for whatever, for operation. They put that money, that profit they have from the fossil fuel into their sovereign wealth fund, into their piggy bank, so that the piggy bank, the sovereign wealth fund, they don't sit on the money. The money is invested into different companies. So that is a very smart thing. So Norwegian citizens are rich in that regard. And if they need to have a UBI program, they can provide a UBI program with the money the governments that collects because of all the dividends and so on from the sovereign wealth fund and the profit they make, so to speak. They can sustain this UBI program. And so the IITTI comes in further downstream, and that is, well, the people would have to earn points to show that they have this kind of humanity focused awareness. And the more they earn in points, also the more money they make in that regard. So that is the new model of the new economy. And in Africa, this is the golden opportunity to have something like this, where young people understand the new economy is about taking care of one another. And so, for example, with the Harvard IDG group, they already have invented new jobs, new career together with IITTI. And so those are the very exciting things that will happen.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I don't think
Thank
I
you.
have any question on my end.
Yeah, I mean, I try to still like understand how you like create the standard, treat yourself as a standard body, like you will create all those standards. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, myself, I'm a computer programmer, so I'm really not qualified to create these kind of standards in 2011, 14 years ago. But the other co-founders, they are all experts in this field, in soft skills, in professional image management for corporate leaders and politicians and so on and so forth. So together, I still remember one story was, we tried to create something like the business etiquette 101. The very first thing I thought, how hard could it be, as an engineer? I said, well, this is probably going to take 3 weeks. It turns out it took us 4 years, gentlemen. So from 3 weeks to 4 years. But once that document is created, wham, a lot of human resource people are saying, wow, this is great. This is important because they can use this piece of document. It's only 50 page. It's not a big document. 4 years to create 50 pages because they didn't realize, people, even amongst the experts, they don't agree on what the standard is. So it took them 4 years to really iron out all the issues. But once it's there, a lot of human resource people are using it for their internal standard. So they're conforming to an international standard rather than writing their own standard in that regard. Some of the issues with human resource is that in North America, for example, it's very hard for human resource people to say, hey, you should not be wearing ripped jeans and sandals to work. A lot of employees say, this is my right to freedom of expression. But now the human resource people can come and say, no, we got this document, this international standard, and our company wants to conform to the international standard because we do business around the world. And so we would love our employees to conform to this standard. So we are, IITTI becomes the bad guy. We becomes the standard, and the human resource people don't have to do the policing. Well, our standards already do it for them. So that is one contribution to many companies that that can use this standard.
I know we're almost run out of time. I do have two last questions. One is do you work cooperating with some assessing company? Because last term we do I take HR courses, and then they said, you know, there will be some assessments or evaluations before they join onboarding the employee, right? Do you work with some of those association or companies, like helping them
Yeah,
use
yeah.
your standard? Okay.
Yeah, we work with some of the companies. There are quite a few, in fact. We also working with universities like your university, others university, and so on. But again, we're a very small group by design. IITTI is very small by design, and I'm the mouthpiece. I'm the front guy, and so we need help into suggesting how do we scale. And like I said, also like there are young people like yourself who are stepping up to set up their own companies to do the marketing and so on. So that's very good news. But it takes time.
Okay.
That's natural.
Yeah, last question is just my curiosity. Like, so for earning point, is there any like limit, like a highest and maximum point for each person, or there's no limit?
There's no limit. It's an infinite game. So
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
it's an infinite game.
okay. Thank you so much, Patrick. I mean, I really appreciate your time, and then you respond to us, and then arrange the meeting, everything, and then answer our questions. I think we will share with our record with our team, and then we will try our best to come up with some, you know, good marketing strategies for you, because it's really, really good, like really new organization, and then everything we learn from you, and then that's great. And then I really appreciate your time and the patience with us.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll share the recordings in a YouTube video, and I'll send
Yeah.
you the link so you can share with your team members.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Bye
Okay.
bye.
Okay. Have a great day. See you guys.